Hello, Daresh. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join me for this interview. How are you?
Not so bad in yourself. The pleasure's all mine.
Great, thank you. So, the reason I invited you for an interview is because I saw you're a very insightful person in the crypto campus. I know you predicted the FTX crash about 2 to 3 weeks before it happened. You were warning the students. There was a lunar incident as well. I believe you were warning people about that. And with the Bitcoin as well, I know you called it near the top. So it seems like you really know what you're doing. I'd like you to go more into depth on that later. But for now, what was your life like before the real world?
Basically, I've lived a very eclectic life. I've been through many different experiences, many different positives, many different negatives, some ups and downs, a whole bunch of stuff that most people haven't really even experienced individually on their own. So I speak from a guy who's come from a lot of experience, a lot of life experience. I'm 31 years old, as I mentioned. I've been around. I've had many experiences. I've had sort of threats on my life. I've had a gun pointed at my head. I've had people threaten me with knives. I've been in attempted carjackings, robberies. Um, I've seen my dad lose his parents. I'd lost my grandparents. I'd come home to sort of try and get people saved from heart attacks. Anything that you could have experienced in your life, I've probably done it. So I come from a wealth of knowledge, not just a person who's fresh out of school or university and just coming into the real world. So I come in as a much older individual compared to the average student who's in their teens, early 20s, who's trying to sort of find his place in life. I also grew up in a very different time where we didn't have access to the internet in my earlier days. It was just a few select people. You needed to go to like an internet cafe, or you needed to go and read the stuff in a library and like photocopy books. So I come from a very different age where you have to work very hard to gain the knowledge that you have. So coming into the real world and seeing how easily available some of this information is actually surprising. It's surprising that people aren't willing to not only pay that fee, but pay the fee and do all the work when they get inside. $49, even to somebody like me who's in the third world, and I have an exchange rate of 18 to 1 at the moment. Even for me, if somebody had to pay $49 times 18 every single month, I'd pay it. I wouldn't ask a question. I feel like I'm getting more than my value at the end of the month. But the thing that surprises me is we have everything that you could ever think of in terms of modern wealth creation. Any sort of sphere of influence, any sort of sphere of investing, trading, stocks, crypto, Amazon FBA, copywriting, personal finance, any realm of human endeavor that you can imagine is covered, and not only covered by normal people, covered by professionals, covered by multi-millionaires in these specific fields. Um, so my life's changed quite drastically because I've actually been awakened to how lazy people are, how little work and effort they're willing to put into not only their education but themselves, because your education is a direct translator of what you will become. The less you know, the less you can be, is something that I always believe. So it's actually surprised me. I always thought people were relatively smart, relatively intelligent, maybe lazy, but I never realized how people weren't even willing to go and take something that's spoon fed to you that will guarantee you to improve your life or make you money or make you a more experienced individual in a certain sphere of life. Even when they have that, they don't want to they don't want to take it. They don't want to take it. So that's where people like the professors, people like the captains and the apprentices become very important because they become the link between the information and the actual individual. Because the individual can come in, he can pay his sort of monthly subscription and just sort of lose track of what he needs to do, be overwhelmed by the amount of information, the knowledge that could be shared and learned. That's where we sort of come in and we bridge the gap. We see where the shortcomings are. We send people to lessons. We send people to videos. We send people to quizzes. We answer questions directly or indirectly if need be. The professors get in. Uh, if you want, you can even ask Andrew Tate a question directly. You can book a session directly with him and get one-on-one advice from one of his teammates, one of his trained team or staff. So the thing that I've noticed is information is much more easily available than people think. Making money is not as difficult as you think, but it's just people are lazy, not willing to work, get overwhelmed, too too insistent on staying within the matrix and staying within the parameters that have been set for them. But it's our job to break people out. It's our job to pull people out of the matrix one by one if that needs to be the way we do it. Yeah, that's how my life has changed through the real world. I've seen that people need us. People need us, and people need us desperately, because without us, they wouldn't get out on their own, unfortunately.